All right, yeah, that is the power of ending units' actions every single turn. Pretty busted, huh?
Yeah, I still think this effect should not have gotten into the
Yeah.
game.
Hey, what's poppin', sexies? It's your boy here, and we are back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is day 2 of the TACHOcast. So our special guest on tonight is the one and only ZeShado. What's up, man?
We're calling it TACHOcast. I
Yeah.
dig it. I dig it. Good to be here again. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, it was Joel who came up with that name yesterday, so I was like, I kind of like it. We might as well go with that for the rest of the videos. So,
It rolls off the tongue at least, so I can give
yeah.
it that.
Yeah, so the Tacho Talks. So as you guys know, what we do in these is just basically play some Aether raids, hanging out with the buds, and just chill and have a good old time talking about Fae. But before we get into that, I just wanted to quickly talk about this, because Rooker Sieges finally made a return after eons, it seems like. What are your thoughts on this, ZeShado?
I'm gonna be real. It is really, really easy, but it's definitely one of the better modes to play around with. You know, especially compared to more modern stuff. Although I wouldn't mind if they brought back that one phalanx game mode, or I guess quote unquote game mode, because all you did was press buttons, but it didn't make you walk through a cutscene. So I'll take that over auto affinity any day of the week.
Oh boy. Oh my god. Like, when I think about the modes that they keep on rotation, so we have affinity auto battles, which is the new thing. We have also, okay, Pawns or Hero's Journey. I don't have a problem with this because the memento logs are pretty funny. So like this mode I kind of like. But
Yeah.
the other mode that is always in rotation is freaking Pawns of Loki, and I hate this mode.
I used to be okay with it, but I think it was inevitable that it was just going to go down the drain because of power creep. And, you know, it's not really fun to go up against units that have triple Gale Force, and you can't really prevent it if you don't have enough levels on your units to, you know, go in and take care of them. You know, but we also have like 2 Gulvigs that can do that. We have Winter Edelgard. I don't think you see much of any other Edelgard, but you don't really need to because any one of those units alone will just completely ruin your run. And then you got to do it all over again. And to be honest, I'm just glad I have all the accessories because I will never take this mode seriously again.
Yeah, same. I basically my main goal was just get the platinum trophy, and that's it. You can just never worry about this ever again. So, but what kills me is that for some reason Pawns of Loki is in the standard rotation. They bring this back more often than anything else. Meanwhile, a mode that actually takes a little bit more strategy and a completely different gameplay concept, which is actually fun. I've always liked Rooker Sieges, and it has really nice rewards. They just added dragon flowers to the mix too, which is really nice. And like just getting to use a completely different style of team. Like here I'm just using a brave attacker with 3 dancers, which is pretty common for this, but like I just think it's a fun idea. It's pretty cool just being able to do a run like that.
I definitely say it's a lot easier because, again, you could do like triple dancer with harmonic and dual buttons and then spam legendary Shez or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, I find it a lot more stimulating than, you know, RNG Loki chess gameplay, quote unquote. And then just, you know, it's not frustrating, which to me is already just a step above like almost every other game mode.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of which, I only noticed this because somebody pointed it out in the notification that we're not getting orbs for this mode when we usually do.
Yeah, that's the sneaky thing that they did. They replaced all of the orb rewards with dragon flowers instead.
I don't know why we couldn't get both.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, we could have gotten both. I was going to say, like, okay, so 1,000 dragon flowers per type is actually pretty good. And depending on the actual orb amount we got from this reward, which I don't remember the exact amount for, like, how many we got for this event, but I think 1,000, if it's, like, somewhere in the vicinity of 5 orbs, I think that's a fair trade for 1,000 flowers.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't disagree. But from what I remember, it was at least, like, 12 to 15, which, to be fair, is, like, still a decent amount, even if you want to, like, you know, compare it to, like, 1,000 flowers of each type. Because don't get me wrong, I'm happy to get the flowers.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's like this Golden Week has been kind of weird when it comes to like giving out its rewards. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have like a really good memory of like all the past Golden Weeks, but it feels weird compared, or it feels different. And maybe I just don't know why, or maybe I'm just making everything up. I don't know.
No, I think everyone is on the same page because it feels really watered down. Like there's not really much here. Whereas I feel like previously they actually had some stuff going on.
Yeah, no, because what do we have for Golden Week? It's Hero Fest and Rooker, and that's it.
It's Hero Fest, Rooker Sieges, and just all the things that they added, like the new content, like if you get a merge on a legendary, mythic, or emblem hero, you get the new heroic ordeal thing.
Oh, yeah, no. I was hoping that would apply retroactively to everything.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily in the matter of, like, 600 flowers per. Because, you know, like, they have done that in the past where, like, the really, really old units had, like, 2 flowers. Even though, even back then, it was still really basically nothing. But you had, like, hundreds of them. So, like, it added up.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what made them decide on this specifically now. And actually, no, I have one idea, and it's they just released Ike, so now they have even more incentive to just hone down on like pulling for more of these because people love Ike, and like he has fodder and he's a really good unit.
Yeah.
But like, I can imagine a lot of people at least merge them to the +1, and that's I would imagine very frustrating, since he's just not going to have any application for this.
Yeah, what they really should have did was make it retroactive because, I mean, everyone needs flowers. It's a very limited resource. How many flowers does it take to get a Gen 1 unit to max? Like,
if I remember correctly, it was like 3,200 something.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, and they're giving us what 600 now per merge for any future releases, which is certainly not enough. I don't know. They should have at least made it retroactive, so like even if you haven't been keeping up with summons, if you've still been playing the game this long, at least it feels like you're being treated nicely about it, like your investments actually do come in handy at this point. But I don't know, they're not very good at keeping your investments very relevant, unfortunately.
They're so weird about it because I feel like that's what Arcanes were meant to do. But then they just, I feel like even with modern seasonal inheritables, they've just been better Arcanes at times too.
Yeah, like the Valentine Selena, why is her weapon so cracked? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, like comparatively to every other Arcane, I would say that's like one of the most broken inheritables we've gotten, period.
It's damn near a perf weapon. Like, what the hell? It's
so insane, dude. I'm still working on this Henry Summoner Duels video or whatever. And the reason I brought him was to prove a point. I gave him Devoted Basket with Strike and everything, and he kind of carried me to rank 1. That is really ridiculous.
That is amazing. Oh my god. Yeah, but it's true. Like the rearmed weapons, I feel like they have not aged very well at all, especially the early ones. Maybe Arcane Threema, you could kind of make a case that weapon's still okay, but like the OG
I think they're
ones
still pretty, like there are still pretty decent ones for what it's worth. I'm of the opinion that like Arcane, whatever the lip one was called, I can never pronounce it, and people tell me how to pronounce it and I never remember. I feel like that one got crept for speedy units the moment we got that null follow-up blade personally, but even then, like going through like all the Arcanes, I think really the only ones that kind of remain unscathed are like a lot of the modern ones and like the bows. Because bows just get treated so well, like unbelievably well.
Yeah, and comparatively, we don't really have any insane inheritable bows. We have good ones, but they're not like overtly more powerful than the Arcane bows. They're like about the same level of power, I would say.
I think the only one I would make a case for is Golden Yule bow. That bow is honestly like one of the best bow inheritables we have in the game.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. But it's also like I feel like there are definitely cases that Arcane Darkbow or what was Tana's one again? Nostrand, I think.
Yeah. Like they have a better niche case over Golden Yule.
Exactly.
I get what you mean with that.
Yeah.
It would just be based on team composition, of course, so it's not really like fluid one way or the other. But I mean, as far as bow options are concerned, I would definitely say they are much higher on the grading scale, at least comparatively to other inheritables, especially arcanes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we really do not have a lot of really good arcanes right now.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate too. But I feel like that's also a way for them to take another jab at people making investments, because a lot of people went hard for the Arcane Heroes when they came out because of the skill duplication. So people were giving out those weapons, and they were like, oh, well, we still have to sell weapons somehow, so we have to power creep those weapons now.
Yeah, I didn't really I think really the gimmick for it at this point is just the duplication, but even back then, like, the scaling between, like, an arcane versus what inheritables they had to offer otherwise were, like, way too high. Like, arcane lifts weapon versus, I don't know, generic coral saber. I mean, it was a significant upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. Oh,
but then,
first of all, like, the -1 was already a big deal. Then you get the Omni up 5, and then effects on top of it. Like, those weapons were crazy on release, for sure.
Yeah. And nowadays, it's like we get modern inheritables that more or less just compete with a lot of the other greater stuff. And to be honest, I'm not as inclined to go for arcanes anymore. Unless, I mean, of course, if they're really good, I'll probably go for it. But otherwise, I feel like I may as well just focus on the older ones I have a lot of copies of.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, you might as well hold on to those copies too, because in the future we're just going to get more busted skills like Lagu's friend that will just appreciate over time your extra copies of rearmed heroes.
Yeah, no, I think I still have like Gambit and No Quarter on one of my rearmed calves, so that's always really nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, we've been talking away here, so we might as well get started with the Aether raid stuff. So we've got 2 defenses here today. One of them we lost lift, but we did manage to KO a unit. And then the other one we got a clean win there. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on.
What kind of comp are you running?
Okay, so this is, I mean, it's a very layered trap here. We've got a lot of stuff going on. First of all, it's a turn 1 trap where Myrrh is the slot 7 unit. So Azura is going to dance on her. And then Azura covers all of this as reach. So if anyone is standing there without a fence, you are going to get attacked on turn 1. Then we have Not with a rally trap on Robin, where she'll move in and then rally. Then we pop the, what is it again? Hush Spectrum effect. With the +1 movement from Green and the Pathfinder, we can cover a lot of ground. And we can also just get some extra actions on Robin after they attack with reposition or swap on any of these other guys. So a lot of stuff is going on here.
Yeah, no, it seems, it does seem pretty layered. I'll give you that much.
Yeah, and also I have double cancel control just to... Because I needed a way to protect the duo's hindrance, but I didn't really know how, so I just ran cancel control on both of these units.
I gotta ask about the Guard Echo Igren you got there. I'm gonna assume it's because you got other copies of Sheeta, and you're like, screw it, let me just get this too.
Yeah, but what I did was I gave Sheeta cancel control, so I was like, what is the most important infantry skill that I could give her, and that was it. So I just...
Yeah, no, that's a good call.
Yeah, so I ended up just giving... Because I had 2 copies of Sheeta, I gave out cancel control and guard echo to 2 units. I gave it to Green, and then I gave it to Dagger after her refine. So 2 units I really wanted cancel...
infantry pulse on here?
Oh, it's on Midori.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy's got Ike and Goto, the combo that has been killing everybody. Oh, he's got King Freyr on offense. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, sometimes even in Vaults, I question a lot of the teams that come around, because a lot of people still don't run Fence, and it's kind of surprising.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's see what happens here. Ike is going to try to bait us. Let's see if he's able to do it. All right, so Baby Robin versus Ike.
Yeah, that's super gross.
We get the flare off, and oh my god, one-shotted him. Wow. Typically, she doesn't one-shot him. It takes her like 2 or 3 hits to get him, but okay, I guess in this case, we just one-shot him. All right, and then he's got his save tank, Byleth, who takes out my Green there. I really have no idea what this guy is doing on offense here with King Freyr, but...
if I wish part of it didn't give you a penalty if you could run something like this, because I run mythics that you can't really run on some seasons because the only opportunity cost is that you don't get extra blessing buffs. But to me, I find that at times, and probably really soon with Loki, it's going to be way more worth it.
Oh, for sure. Like, the defensive ones I can understand. If you're running King Freyr on Dark Season or, like, the upcoming Loki on Anima Season, because they're just so good for defense teams. But
yeah,
if we're talking about offense, though, where it's actually hurting your score, I don't really see much of a point.
Yeah, no, if it didn't, then I'd be way more inclined for it. But yeah, no, I don't think that's ever going to change. And I'm not exactly sure what Freyr does here specifically.
Yeah, well, debuffs are very common, so I can see kind of why they would want to have him. I would actually run him on offense, too, if he was an option, but the fact that he tanks your score is, like, pretty sus.
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess the only compensation, it's not generally the same, but you do have Peony, and, you know, she has neutralizes penalties during combat as a dance effect, and that could just be given out to everybody if you're just positioning correctly. So yeah. I'm not exactly sure what the idea here is besides, you know, start a turn effects, but I don't really think your team had any.
No, not at least not in terms of debuffing. All of my debuffs come mid-turn with, like, Hush Spectrum and stuff.
Yeah, so that wouldn't even apply.
Yeah. So how have you been faring on defense against Emblem Ike?
A lot of my defenses have been kind of funny like that because rather than dealing with him head first, they've just been going around him. So
okay.
I remember one of my gimmick defenses I had was with Vantage Winter Byleth, which rarely ever went well on an AI setting, but it's there anyway. But what ends up happening is that he'll initiate combat against Emblem Ike, and because he gets all that scowl, he just can't retaliate with Great Aether. So what ends up happening is he'll initiate, he'll live, and then Alencia will jump over Ike and then kill a backline unit.
Ah, that's pretty funny. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It wasn't even intended to even work like that, but yeah, no, because I worked on this, or I just kind of threw it together before Emblem Ike even came out, and it just worked by proxy because movement-based scowl is really good.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that's the other thing you can do. If you don't want to try to defeat Ike one-on-one, you can just go around him and attack the other guys, which that's another concept on this team. I have all of the movement on Robin, so she can possibly even avoid Ike if I need to.
Yeah, no, it's especially why I'm valuing bulwark effects more and more as of late.
Yeah.
Like, even with Fallen Fema Byleth, I know she isn't, like, the craziest, but I do think right now, especially with, like, all the cap lines and stuff, just having bulwark on top of, like, a free unpierceable special is really good.
Oh, for sure. Oh, man. Bulwark, I feel like if they added Bulwark as a Sacred Seal, it would go so hard.
Oh, it would be incredibly broken.
Yeah, like, there's a couple of seals I actually really want them to make. Bulwark would be one of them. I also think we need Odd and Even Recovery as Sacred Seals. I think that would be a really much-needed buff for staff types.
Yep. That'd be great, honestly. There's one seal I want, and it's never going to happen, so I could only pray it's going to come out on an Echo. Mainly because they did Echo Wings of Mercy, and to be honest, I didn't expect that whatsoever.
Yeah, Wings of Mercy is pretty universal.
It's actually... I'm actually surprised they even did that. I know it's not like the 2 spaces that you get from Wings of Mercy 4, which is helpful, but I feel like what you get out of a free B slot is really big.
Yeah.
Like, it could always just be like a win more type situation, but I think especially for some units like Beast Infantry, I think that's a great buff because now you could just get full on tempo from your weapon.
Yeah, the B slot is probably the most competitive slot still, which has always kind of been the case, but, like, anytime they add really good B skills as Echo options or Sacred Seals, I feel like it's a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
So like we still have the possibility of Vantage coming up as an Echo skill or a Sacred Seal at some point.
Yeah, that I can't even imagine how well that's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean Vantage at this point, I think it would be okay because it's one of the ways they can counter all the melt damage. So like, yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to a Vantage. I don't know if I would want it as an Echo skill, probably a Seal so that everyone can mess around with it, but I mean, knowing them, they would probably want it to be an Echo skill so they can sell it.
Yeah, that would make sense. And I feel like with Echoes in particular, like, it doesn't seem like there's a limit to, like, what they would really put out. And to me, that kind of, like, flew out the window once we got Soaring Guidance. Because a lot of the early ones were, like, they were basic, but they were good. But then we get Soaring Guidance, and that was, like, that was, like, ridiculous for an upgrade.
Oh my god, we went from, what was it? We went from Attack, Oath, Echo, and Death Blow 2 to freaking Soaring Guidance. What is that progression, man? How do they figure, like, that's fair?
Power creep, because they need to keep selling stuff, which is, I guess their motto of the game at this point, or it's been that way for a good while, but I don't know, like, even I don't think we have a necessarily bad Echo skill. I know a lot of people like to dunk on Death Blow Echo, for example, but I mean, 4 extra attack in the player face for any nuke is always good. Yeah, it's basic, but it's good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The fact that it's not the fully upgraded Death Blow, though, they could have did Death Blow 3, I think. It wouldn't have been that crazy.
Yeah, probably not. But I guess it just depends on, like, who you also put it on. Because, like, on surface level, it's like, oh, it's just 4 extra attack. But then I don't know, you give it to Ninja Sanaki, and that's 8 extra attack for her, which is kind of a big deal. Or you give it to, like, any other, like, catch your ball nuke or literally anything.
Yeah.
I think it's a basic Echo skill, but I would still argue one of the better ones we have.
Yeah, well, the universality? Is that a word? I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but the universalness of it is very good, of course, and every unit benefits from just getting extra attack when they initiate, so...
like, it could only be so bad.
Yeah.
Oath Echo, I think, was the one I disliked the most, but even then, it's like, you could still use it for, like, any flyer composition, which is pretty good.
The most disgusting thing about Soaring Echo, though, is that now you can run, like, Rain Snap on the melee flyers, so they have both. They get movement and warp support.
Yeah, no, it's incredible how much flyers just get out of this. Like, even if you want to make them do more than support, I think that's a big deal too. Like, any of your, like, ranged flyers, for example, especially the bows, now they could contribute in combat way more because they could also run Deadly Miasma, which is a really good C slot.
Yeah, oh man, but Deadly Miasma, even when it came out, it kind of was the best flyer C skill, but you wouldn't want to use it because that means you can't run Soaring Echo. So, like...
Yeah, that was the big issue. Like, it was competing with, the flyer skill, which...
Yeah.
The way I see, like, Guidance and Soaring Echo is, like, if they put Save Echo out for armors.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's a very interesting thought. So then...
Yeah, like...
You get C skill availability for your armors. So, like, what do you run, then, on your armors if you have a C skill?
Honestly... I couldn't tell you. I don't even think they have anything that isn't dedicated to savings at this point. But the way I see it is like whenever somebody's building an armor, right? Like, they always recommend, like, save, like near save, far save, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's just how I see. That's just how I saw flyers after that point, because, it's like the C slot you would always run.
Yeah.
But I think the difference between, like, armors and flyers in that regard is that flyers just have way more tools to work around with, whereas armors just kind of have that, like, one and done gimmick. And there really isn't much you could run that isn't just stat boosters, which, to be fair, is still good, especially if you're saving. But as far as, like, armor C slots are concerned, I'd have to look that up. Let me just use Arden as an example, right? They have, like, wards, I guess, in, I don't know, smokes, but
yeah,
it's not great.
I was thinking maybe go for, like, Def Res Ploy or something, so you get the exposure support and the ploy.
Yeah, no, some of them could use ploy. But, like, a lot of armors are also just weird when it comes to their stats. Because like sometimes you also have like the speedy ones, the ones that are like all rounded. Some of them are super min-max though, but yeah, like as far as C-slot options are concerned when it comes to armors, there's basically nothing. Like you have Hones and I guess Menace if you want to use that, but that's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Like to be fair, armors don't need any other C-slot because they're not really doing anything besides enemy phasing anyway. Unless you're Edelgard, and even then, she has Assault Troop, so you don't really need that either. Well, actually, the new one had a Defense Res Ploy, so I guess that one made sense, but generally, like, they're not hurting for C-slots because they have the one they only need.
Yeah, I hate to cut you off. I'm kind of, like, deep in thought in this fight here. Okay, so...
Oh, yeah, no worries.
What I'm trying to do is get Satyr to end Igreen's turn with the C skill there, and then I'm just going to isolate his Triandra. So even though he's got all this Fatal Smoke, it's not going to bother my Ike, really. The main problem is I want Ike to just go right up the middle so he can bait everything at once. But I think I'm going to have to wait a turn to do this. Let's see here.
If you have a Smite bot, you could probably do it.
Yeah, I've got Smite on Milla, but I don't want Milla to not be... If I don't isolate Triandra, if she dances like Igreen and then I get hit by the AoE, I'm going to lose Ike, so I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But if you do isolate her with Saether anyway, it should be fine. I think the biggest issue is just trying to get into hit Yunaka or something. Because otherwise you're just gambling on that Bolt Trap, and to be honest, I think it is the real one, considering how much easier it is to get to foes like Yunaka.
Yeah. I mean, I could also go up... I could just go up this side. I guess that could work. Let's see.
You could probably do that too.
Yeah. I'm just going to do this because it's...
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, break block, dance from below, and then...
Yeah.
Just smite up.
I could smite her up too. We did the isolation already, right? Okay, so that's good. You can also go ahead and break that, which would be helpful, I think. Oh, smite her.
It should be, because Peony doesn't get isolated.
Alright, yeah, and we should be good to go just like this. I'm going to go ahead and try to break some more stuff while we're at it. And, yeah, that should be do-si-do, I think. Alright.
Hopefully.
Famous last words, right?
I feel like this is the same thing we've done last time, and I feel like it was with a Thurseer or something. Like we were basically really confident, and it just went south fast. Yeah,
it was. I remember it was an old fight where like Brave Lynn was kind of meta still or something. I don't remember, but it was like this OG defense team on Spring Breeze with like all of the classic stuff, like Brave Veronica, Brave Lynn, and then he had like Thurseer, and we were so overconfident that we were just gonna bait it so easily because all his units were out of date. And then I ended up messing up, and I think one of my units got sniped.
Yeah, no, that does sound really familiar then. But it seems like you're fine now.
Yeah, at this point, I think we are good to go. Let's just still try to stay away from Igreen here.
Yeah, because you could shut off Kagero here.
Yeah.
And then just continue as normal.
Hold on. I think I want to attack, actually. Is there a way for me to... Yeah, I still have to avoid Igreen, I guess. Yeah, because like...
Yeah, that's the biggie. If you get too close, she's going to snipe you. You might just have to bait her out, and then should be fine after. Plus, I don't really see any feasible way of getting Saether to... Or actually... Yeah, no. If you plonk Saether in front of Kagero, does she kill Kavastor, or does Kavastor kill Saether? Or because I forget there's that times gate thing where anyone can warp.
Oh, not only that, I can just pop her duo skill right now. We can get a lot of warping.
Oh yeah,
that would be a good idea here. Let's see, what do we want to do? So she is what, 5x5 with her duo skill?
Something like that? I don't know.
Grants times gate to allies within 4 spaces. Okay, so...
Yeah, that was the weird warping thing.
We can actually get Milla with that. That's pretty clutch. So then, like, Milla could start warping in. There's probably a chain where we could just player phase half of this stuff right now if I pop this duo skill, so...
Probably, yes. Actually, I have a question. How big is that pulse smoke range on Ike?
It's 3 columns by 3 rows.
Oh, wait, you could just shut off her special.
That is also...
Wait, no, because she gets it back with pulse up.
Well,
no.
In order for me to activate Great Aether, though, I have to... Like, they have to attack into Ike, because when he attacks, like, these ranged units, they don't counter him, so I wouldn't be able to charge it.
Right.
Alright, so...
I guess the only other thing I could think of is...
I'm going to go ahead and do this. I smited Aether in so I could pop the duo skill, and then I wanted Peony to be able to get the warping there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now... Let's see, what do we want to do? We could smite Asker up, have him blow up Kagero. Then from there, I could, like, warp in Satyr, have her get rid of Kvaser.
Does she have Kanto? Oh, wait, it doesn't matter, because, she already got or she had her turn ended last time. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of, like, a way where you could just take care of Igran, but I feel like she's too far up.
Let me see here. Okay, so we possibly smite Milla. We could smite Asker there. Have him just destroy Kagero player phase. Warp Satyr to Asker from there. Have her beat Kvaser. And then to get to Igreen from there, I can...
Oh, wait. Actually, I think I might see something. Because if you do smite Asker up and he takes care of Kagero, could you dance Milla and then Milla teleports to the left of Asker? And then Satyr can kill Igren and then you Kanto in front of Kvaser? Is that a possible thing?
That seems possible. But then Kvaser would be able to attack Asker, right? Like, I wouldn't be able to...
Oh, no, because you would Kanto in front of Kvaser, so then her turn gets ended.
Oh, yeah, that is a good call. Okay, I like what you have just cooked up there, Mr. ZeShado. So check it out. We're going to do exactly what you just said. We're going to smite up Asker. Okay, so we attack with Asker, right? And then we warp Peony there and dance Milla, and then have her warp next to Asker. And then we attack Igreen, and then we Kanto over to Kvaser.
Yeah, that should work.
All right, that was some big brain strats there, my friend. Good on you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's also... I mean, we can also just cancel her up, but I mean, that doesn't matter too much, does it? Okay, we do this,
and then you just...
get rid of this, and then we cancel to the left.
Perfect.
All right, excellent maneuvering there, my good friend. Okay, now we can also get the pots, too, because...
Yeah, no, that works out.
Yep. All right, awesome sauce. All right, and then Sothis can't really do anything, so we are good to go here. All right, now how are we getting the final pot? That is, I guess, the only question.
Oh, yeah,
here.
you could just kill Kvaser, Kanto back, and shut off Sothis, couldn't you?
Yeah, I could do that too. I don't know why. I have this, like, speedrunner's mindset where everything that I do, I have to do the most amount of things on the current turn. So, like, if there's a possibility that I could break the pot on this turn, I would want to do it now. As opposed to just,
no, I feel that.
Waiting around. Oh,
yeah, at this point, you can just move everybody in. Unless this is, like, a super res stack Sothis, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay, he's perfectly safe there. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to break the pot on this turn, but I mean, what does it matter?
You could just get it next turn.
Yeah, we've already pretty much cleared this one, so... Alright, yeah, that is the power of ending units' actions every single turn. Pretty busted.
Yeah, I still think this effect should not have gotten into the game.
Yeah, now, this might be a hot take. I'm not too afraid of Satyr in summoner duels, but I feel like in Aether Raid's offense, she's just, like, unbelievably busted. Just
Yeah, I think that's a lot of units like that. Because to be honest, I think a lot of units are like super, super good in Summoner Duels, just aren't that good anywhere else. Obviously, like it's not every unit, but more often than not, I find that like, outside of Leon and Igren, it's really going to vary.
yeah. Well, I mean, Leon and Igren are good in both, and I mean, Aether is still pretty competent in Summoner Duels too. It's just that I like her ability to end turns. I feel like is a lot more balanced in that mode where you got to pull off like some crazy shenanigans to really get the most out of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think she has a lower floor but a really high ceiling. Obviously, depending on map and like whatever else, but yeah, no, she could definitely work everywhere, I feel. But you could definitely tell she's like way more potent in Aether raids because AI control.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good place to wrap. We did our fights, we took a look at some replays, and unless there's anything else you would like to cover here today.
I got nothing. I think we talked about everything, even before the recording started.
Yeah. I mean, the little, like, preamble before we started recording should have probably been part of the video, but, I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, my final thoughts, I guess, are that I'm glad Rooker Sieges is back. I hope it's not a one-and-done thing. I hope they keep this mode in rotation, because it is a lot of fun. I feel like if there's two modes that they should really keep on rotation instead of Pawns of Loki, I think it's definitely Grand Conquest and Rooker Sieges, because those are the most fun out of all of these to me, besides maybe like Seer Snare.
I feel like, I don't know, because like I don't hate Grand Conquest, but it also does become a really big grind fest, at least if you're trying to get all the rewards for it. I wouldn't mind Rooker Sieges being a monthly thing, though, especially if we get rid of Pawns of Loki for it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and the rewards, they need to make the 1,000 Dragonflower reward a permanent thing, too. Just to...
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, they said it was only for a Golden Week, but hey, I mean, we still have hope. Maybe they can just keep this mode in rotation, and we can keep on getting at least a decent amount of flowers from here, right? Like, these are pretty good. 50, what is this, flyer flowers, and then 25 of every other type. That's already still pretty good rewards, I would say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if this were a common mode and these were the rewards we got, I don't think anyone would be complaining about flower deficit.
Yeah, for sure. But it just has to be a frequent thing instead of like a... we're going to keep this mode tucked away for a year and then maybe bring it back once.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time this even ran. I think it was like a bit after Legendary Shez, and that was actually just over a year ago.
Oh, do you think that might be the reason why they retired the mode, is because Shez, like, just completely bodies this?
No, I think part of it was just due to, like, engagement in the mode, or just in the game itself. Because Rooker Sieges is a very, like, quickly, like, done mode. You just kind of go in for, like, a battle or two, and that's it. I think really their biggest thing is just keeping player retention or inside the app. Like, I think that's like their big thing. Yeah, and I think that's also why auto affinity is the way it is.
Well, you bring up some interesting points there. Okay, so they want player attention, they want players to be logged into the game more frequently, but this mode, what is this supposed to do to accomplish that? I don't really think it does much compared to...
it's supposed to waste your time,
yeah.
But it's better for something else, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Grand Conquest could do that. I can tell you that much.
Another mode I completely forgot about is Tap Battle. So, like, this is another one where it doesn't really use the main gameplay mechanics of the other modes, like where you're just moving, you're controlling your own units and KOing the enemies. Tap Battle and also Pawns of Loki are the two modes in here where they don't really follow the same rules as the actual game, which I think is kind of a disservice. I would prefer modes like Rooker Sieges and Grand Conquest where we are following the rules of the game and we are playing the game in a different way, but still in the same way it's intended to be played. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, I get you. Honestly, I think Tap Battle was fun just because it was different from the actual game itself. Although I feel like there was a lot of stuff they didn't really do to like make it much more worth engaging in. I think part of that was the fact that like regardless of what difficulty you did or like how you played it, it was just the one and done reward. I think literally just adding sort of like a point or rank system to it. I know that sounds silly, but adding one of those to it, I think would have been pretty good. Even if it was just like, oh, you got the like accumulated combo score based on like higher difficulty and whatever, because you get more enemies on the higher difficulties. So they could have easily made that like extra feathers or something, you know? But even then, like, I thought the mode was decent.
Yeah, to me, it just devolves into tapping the screen like this, like over and over again until I just get to the end.
Yeah, that's also a thing you can do. But there is at least like that charm of like engaging with it versus frontline phalanx.
Yeah, more like frontline fail. Am I right or am I right?
I mean, I would still take that over auto affinity. I don't have to watch a cutscene every time.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's a good enough place to call it a day here. So, ZeShado, my man, thank you so much for being on today and being our special guest.
Yeah, anytime.
And if you guys haven't already, which I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, who have subscribed to me are already subscribed to him, but there's going to be a link to his channel in the description of this video, as well as at the end of this video as a clickable link. So that is going to wrap us up for this one. Hope you guys are looking forward to tomorrow when we get another special guest on and talk about more Fae-related content. So this is your boy Tacho signing out. Take care, fellas, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.